Good morning, readers. I think today's the first day that I managed to get both my Facebook and my YouTube live stream going the same time, so we'll see whether this actually works. Today is the new release day for Tai Chi and Chai Tea. I'm seeing an image on my screen that's reversed, so hopefully that is forward facing for you and everything's not written backwards. You can go to my new release blog on my website today. I'll put a link in the description section or in the comment section, directing you to my blog post, as well as Tai Chi. There are a few other books there that are new releases from authors that I know or that look really good that you might be interested in as well. So, as usual on a new release day, I'm going to do a short reading for you from Tai Chi and Chai Tea. This is book number 11 in the Auntie Clem's Bakery series. That's the series that begins with Gluten-Free Murder. It's about Erin Price, who is a baker who opens a specialty gluten-free and allergen-friendly bakery in a small town named Bald Eagle Falls in Tennessee. So I thought I'd give you a different reading than shows up in my sample for the book, so that you can hear a little bit more about it. So this is a few chapters into the book as we get into the action. So, how about you, Terry? Vic chimed in. What's the weirdest holiday crime you can think of? Terry was far away. It was a few seconds before he realized that everyone was looking at him, and that Vic had asked a question. He looked at Erin, then Vic, wetting his lips and opening his mouth to ask what he'd missed. He startled, putting his hand over his chest, and Erin's first thought was a heart attack. That was it. He'd gone from being active to sedentary, had filled up on a big heavy meal, and now she was going to lose him. But he slid his phone out of his shirt pocket to look at it, unaware of the scare he had caused. While he tried to remain impassive as he looked at the screen of his phone, it was clear that something had happened. He half turned to look at Canine and get to his feet, before remembering he was no longer on active duty. Then he just sat there, looking at Erin, not sure what to do with himself. What is it? Erin asked. He looked at the phone again, trying to come to a decision. Erin swallowed, nervous in anticipation, worrying about what could possibly have gone wrong now. He was apparently still on the police distribution list despite being on leave. A break-in at the bakery, another fire, someone else hurt or killed, and he didn't know whether to act as a first responder or stay out of the way and let someone else take it. I think you should go by and see Mary Lou. Erin covered her mouth. If there was anyone who didn't deserve one more blow, it was Mary Lou. How much could one woman stand? Did something happen to Roger? Is he okay? People got killed in prison or hung themselves in mental facilities. Something that could easily have happened to Roger in his facility. Something horrible that his family could never recover from. No, not Roger. Terry flashed a look at Beaver. The Thanksgiving dinner turned into a rock in Erin's stomach. Campbell? What could have happened to Campbell? He'd made it home for dinner, Erin was sure of it. He'd arrived the night before, and all kinds of speculation were flying around Bald Eagle Falls about him and his girlfriend. Not just a city girl, someone whose pedigree and history they could not explore, but a black girl. Tennessee might have legislated mixed-race marriages decades before, but the old prejudices still lingered. The whispers were flying thick and fast around Bald Eagle Falls. For a second, Erin was rooted to the spot. She wanted to ask all of the questions, to find out everything that Terry knew or didn't know, but he'd already told her what she should do. She needed to go over to Mary Lou's house and see if she was okay. Mary Lou didn't have a lot of friends left in town, and if something had happened to Campbell, she needed Erin's support. Erin leaned on the table, making the dishes rattle, and pushed herself to her feet. I don't know how long I'll be. Can someone make sure the turkey doesn't get left out? We don't want to have to worry about food poisoning. We'll take care of the food, Willie assured her. Vic, are you going to go too? Vic nodded. She was on her feet half a second after Erin. Yeah, we can have dessert later. It will be better to have it after everyone's dinner has settled anyway. We'll enjoy it a lot more if we aren't all stuffed. Just make sure everything is covered so it won't dry out. Erin looked around for her purse, quickly made sure that everything was in it and her phone was charged, and fished out her keys. Vic was right behind her. "What do you think happened?" she asked, as she and Erin climbed into Erin's car, and Erin crossed her fingers that the engine would start. "I don't know. Campbell was home. I don't know what could have gone wrong. What could have gone wrong? I thought Roger, but it wasn't Roger." Nothing was very far away in Bald Eagle Falls, so they reached Mary Lou's house in just a few minutes. The police were first responders, and the volunteer fire department. A fully equipped ambulance would have come from the city, which could take an hour or more, depending on what kind of Thanksgiving Day emergencies had happened there. Erin pulled into a vacant spot against the curb, and she and Vic got out quickly. As they headed toward the front door, it opened, and a uniformed police officer exited with Campbell Cox in handcuffs, escorted firmly by the arm. Erin knew Officer Stainer by sight, but she didn't know him personally. He'd been hired on contract to help cover for Terry's position while he was off active duty. He hadn't come from Baldeo Falls, but had been sent over to matter. "Ma'am," Stainer said stonily, "excuse me, please." Erin and Vic weren't exactly blocking the sidewalk, but they each moved a little farther away. "Campbell?" Erin asked. "What's going on?" She didn't know him well. They'd only met once or twice, but Campbell knew who she was, knew that she was a friend of his mother's. Stainer continued to hustle Campbell on, not letting him stop and talk to explain what was going on. He called out to her frantically as Stainer dragged him on toward the car. "It wasn't me," he told her. "Tell her it wasn't me. I'm sorry. I can't believe this happened. On Thanksgiving Day. Tell her I'm sorry." Stainer opened the door and shoved him into the back seat with a terse warning to watch his head. Erin looked at Vic, her eyes wide. They turned back toward the door and continued to walk up the sidewalk. Erin felt removed from reality. It felt like a movie screening, like it was a drama or a joke or part of a bizarre family tradition, and soon everyone would be talking about it and laughing about how she was naive to have believed it was real. "What's going on?" she asked Vic, even though she knew that Vic didn't have the answer. "I don't know." They mounted the stairs to the door and stood there, unsure what to do. The door was still open a few inches, and there was a lot of activity inside. They hadn't been invited in, and Erin had no idea what the etiquette was for barging into someone's house when a member of the family had just been arrested. Was it like a funeral? Did one knock and go in, ring the doorbell, and wait to be invited? They hadn't brought a casserole or cookies. Vic eventually knocked sharply on the door and pushed it open a few more inches, sticking her head in and yoo-hooing to let Mary Lou know she was there. She paused for a moment, then pushed the door open the rest of the way and stepped in, motioning for Erin to follow. They walked into the living room. The feeling of being on a stage set continued. Mary Lou was sitting on the couch, her eyes wide and her face pale, looking around her in distress. The turkey and fixings were still on the dining room table, barely touched. The chairs were pushed out around it. Josh sat next to Mary Lou, his arm around her shoulders, speaking to her in low, urgent tones. He looked up at Vic and Erin, relief flooding his features. He was only 16 and needed another adult there to take over. Sheriff Wilmot stood in front of Mary Lou, notebook in hand. His look was one of compassion, but his lips were tight and his stance rigid and unbending. Erin could hear Tom Baker talking to someone else outside the room. Girlfriend, Erin supposed. He was trying to get her side of the story, whatever it was. Vic swooped in and sat down on Mary Lou's other side, also putting her arm around the woman. "Mary Lou, what happened? What's going on?" Okay, so I'm going to leave you hanging there. You can head on over to Amazon, to the Kindle store, and pick up your copy of Tai Chi and Chai Tea. Hope you have a great weekend and enjoy your reading. Talk to you later.